What if I told you that a European princess worth $500 million faked her own death to become one of the deadliest soldiers in American military history? Before we dive into this absolutely insane true story, smash that subscribe button right now, because stories like this are exactly why this channel exists. And drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I read every single one. This woman walked away from designer dresses and diamond tiaras to crawl through mud and blood in Afghanistan. She gave up a throne to earn the right to wear Army Ranger tabs. But here's what will shock you the most. For 3 years, she served alongside American soldiers who had no idea they were fighting next to European royalty. Her own family held her funeral while she was earning combat medals. Stick around, because when you hear how her secret was finally discovered and what happened when her royal father flew to America to drag her back to the palace, your mind will be blown. Hit that like button if you're ready for the most incredible military transformation story you've ever heard. Let's get into it. Princess Isabella Habsburg-Lorraine stood at the massive windows of her family's Vienna palace, watching ordinary people walk freely on the streets below. At 22, she was breathtakingly beautiful, the kind of ethereal elegance that graced magazine covers and royal portraits. But Isabella's perfect life was suffocating her. "Your Highness, tomorrow you have lunch with the Prince of Monaco," announced her private secretary Margaret, reading from the daily schedule. Isabella closed her eyes. Another arranged meeting, another step toward a marriage she didn't want, another day of being a beautiful ornament in someone else's political game. "No more, Margaret, I can't do this anymore." Margaret looked confused. "Princess, what do you mean?" "I mean this fake existence, these forced smiles, these arranged marriages, this emptiness. I want to live a real life." That night, Isabella secretly watched CNN coverage of American soldiers in Afghanistan. On screen, she saw a female soldier carrying a wounded civilian to safety under enemy fire. Isabella's heart raced. That was real purpose. That was courage. That was life with meaning. In that moment, her impossible plan began to form. 3 months later, news of a tragic accident shook the world. Princess Isabella's car had plunged off a cliff in the Austrian Alps during a blizzard. No body was recovered. The Habsburg family declared a period of national mourning, but Isabella was very much alive. She had orchestrated the perfect disappearance. With the help of a loyal friend and forged documents, she had created a new identity, Emma Thompson from Wisconsin, an ordinary girl with a tragic past and nothing to lose. Walking into the Army recruitment office in Georgia, she looked nothing like the princess the world was mourning. Her hair was dyed brown and cut short. Gone was the regal posture, replaced by the determined stance of someone ready to fight. "Name?" asked Staff Sergeant Miller, looking up from his paperwork. "Emma Thompson. I want to be a soldier." The sergeant studied her face. Pretty girl, probably running from a bad relationship. "Miss, Army life is tough. You sure you know what you're getting into?" Emma smiled. Not the practiced princess smile, but something fierce and real. "Sergeant, I've never been more sure of anything in my life." Fort Benning basic training was a shock like nothing Isabella had ever experienced. The girl who had never made her own bed was now doing push-ups in the mud at 5 a.m. "Thompson, what is this disaster?" Drill Sergeant Rodriguez screamed, pointing at Emma's poorly made bunk. "No excuse, Drill Sergeant," Emma shouted back, fighting tears. The first weeks were hell. Her soft hands bled from rope climbs. Her pampered body ached from hours of physical training. Other recruits whispered behind her back. "Princess here won't last a week," muttered her bunkmate Jennifer. If only she knew how right and wrong she was. But Emma refused to quit. Every morning she woke up earlier than required, doing extra training. The discipline she'd learned from royal protocol now served a different master, the drive to become a real soldier. The transformation was remarkable. Within months, the soft princess had become steel. She topped every physical fitness test, excelled in weapons training, and earned grudging respect from instructors who had expected her to wash out. "Thompson!" Drill Sergeant Rodriguez called her aside after graduation. "I don't know what drives you, but I've never seen determination like yours. You've got something special." Emma smiled. If only he knew her something special was 3 centuries of royal bloodline channeled into military excellence. After basic training, Emma made a decision that stunned everyone. She applied for Ranger School, the Army's most elite and brutal training program. Even experienced male soldiers failed at massive rates. "Thompson, you sure about this?" asked Captain Hayes. "Ranger School breaks people, strong people." "Sir, breaking is just the first step to rebuilding yourself stronger." Ranger School was 61 days of hell. Candidates got 3 to 4 hours of sleep per night, minimal food, and constant physical and mental torture. The dropout rate was 60%. Emma thrived. In the Georgia swamps, crawling through mud and thorns, she felt more alive than she ever had in silk gowns. During the mountain phase in Utah, her secret alpine training from childhood proved invaluable. "How do you keep going?" asked David Chen, a fellow candidate, during their 3rd week of near starvation. Her leadership abilities emerged during the most challenging exercises. When her team faced an impossible mission in the Florida swamps, Emma took charge, navigated through hostile terrain, and brought everyone home safely. "This woman was born to lead," noted Major Stevens in his evaluation. Of the 300 who started, only 94 graduated. Emma was among them. "Ranger Thompson!" Colonel Martinez called her name at the graduation ceremony. As the Ranger tab was pinned to her uniform, Emma felt tears she couldn't control. She had done it. The princess was dead. The warrior was born. Afghanistan was Emma's real test. Deployed to Kandahar with Alpha Company, she was the new face among battle-hardened veterans. "Fresh Ranger," Staff Sergeant Williams announced to the squad. "Thompson just graduated the school." The skeptical looks were familiar. Female Rangers were still rare, and trust had to be earned in blood. Her first combat operation was a village-clearing mission against Taliban fighters. Emma was assigned as point woman, the most dangerous position, leading the patrol. "Contact front!" she shouted as enemy fire erupted from hidden positions. What followed was 4 hours of intense combat. Emma's performance was flawless. She directed her team's movements, carried 3 wounded soldiers to safety, and personally neutralized 2 enemy positions. "Thompson!" gasped Private Mike Rodriguez as she dragged him to cover. "Who the hell are you?" "Just someone who found her purpose," Emma replied, reloading her weapon. After that night, she wasn't just the new girl anymore. She was Ranger Thompson, a soldier her unit would follow into hell. 2 years into her service, Emma had become a sergeant and was training new Rangers at Fort Benning. She had found peace in her new identity. The princess was a distant memory. Then came the mission that changed everything. Emma's team was deployed to Syria for a special intelligence operation targeting ISIS leadership. The mission went perfectly until they searched the captured compound and found documents that made Emma's blood freeze. Among the enemy intelligence files were photographs, current photographs of European royalty, including recent pictures of Princess Isabella Habsburg-Lorraine, pictures taken before her death. "Thompson," said Captain Rodriguez, holding up the photo, "this looks exactly like you." Emma's world collapsed. 3 years of perfect secrecy destroyed by enemy intelligence files. That's not possible," she stammered. But the resemblance was undeniable. Her team gathered around, comparing the photo to their sergeant's face. "Holy shit," whispered Corporal Johnson. "Thompson, are you?" Emma closed her eyes. The moment she had dreaded was here. "Yes," she said quietly. "I was Princess Isabella." The silence was deafening. These men who had bled beside her, who had trusted her with their lives, were staring at her like she was a stranger. "You're a fucking princess?" Rodriguez finally managed.
I was a princess. Now I'm your sergeant. That hasn't changed.
When news reached the Pentagon, it created a crisis at the highest levels. A European princess serving secretly in the U.S. military could trigger international incidents. General Morrison summoned Emma to Washington immediately.
"Sergeant, do you understand the magnitude of what you've done? This is a diplomatic nightmare."
Emma stood at attention.
Sir, I've served this country with honor for 3 years. I've bled for it, fought for it, and I'd die for it. My past doesn't change my service record.
"What about your family? They think you're dead."
Sir, Isabella Habsburg-Lorraine died in that car crash. Emma Thompson was born that day. This is who I choose to be.
The general studied this remarkable young woman. In 3 years, she had become one of their most decorated Rangers. Her service record was spotless, her leadership exceptional.
"Thompson, I'm giving you a choice. Return to your royal life or make this official. But the secret's out now."
Emma didn't hesitate.
Sir, I'm a Ranger. That's all I want to be.
The story exploded across global media. "Princess becomes Army Ranger" dominated headlines worldwide. The Habsburg family was in shock, devastated to learn their daughter was alive, but had chosen this life over royalty. Archduke Ferdinand, Emma's father, flew to America personally. The meeting took place at Fort Bragg. Emma appeared in her combat uniform, Ranger tab prominent on her shoulder, sergeant stripes on her sleeve. Her father barely recognized the regal daughter he had lost.
"Isabella, enough of this madness. Come home."
Father, I am home. My name is Sergeant Emma Thompson.
"You're a princess? This is beneath you?"
Emma's eyes flashed with anger.
Beneath me, I've earned every stripe, every medal, every bit of respect through blood and sweat. Nothing in my life has ever been more worthy.
Her father saw something in her eyes he'd never seen before. Complete certainty, unshakable purpose.
"Are you happy?"
he asked quietly. For the first time, Emma smiled genuinely at her father.
Happier than I ever was in the palace.
Emma's story became a worldwide phenomenon. The book, From Palace to Battlefield, became an international bestseller. Thousands of young women enlisted in military services across the globe, inspired by her example. But Emma wasn't interested in fame. She wanted to serve. The Pentagon offered her something special: leadership of a new program training female Rangers. The Women Warriors Initiative would be her legacy. Ladies, Emma addressed her first class of female Ranger candidates. "They'll call you pioneers, trailblazers, history makers. But I'll call you what you are, warriors." Gender doesn't determine strength. Character does. The program's success was extraordinary. Under Emma's leadership, female Ranger graduation rates tripled. Emma's final great mission came in her 5th year of service, a hostage rescue operation in Somalia. American diplomats captured by terrorist groups in Mogadishu. "Thompson, you'll lead this operation," announced Colonel Hayes. The mission was labeled impossible by military analysts. The hostages were held in a heavily fortified compound in the heart of hostile territory. Emma led a 12-person special operations team into Somalia. For 3 days, they executed a plan that was part military precision, part inspired improvisation. 0 casualties. All hostages recovered. Mission accomplished. As their helicopter lifted off, with explosions lighting the sky behind them, Emma turned to her team. "This is why we became Rangers, people, to make the impossible possible." The ceremony was held at the White House. Emma Thompson, now Sergeant Major, stood as the President placed the Medal of Honor around her neck, the highest military decoration rarely awarded to living recipients. "Sergeant Major Thompson," the President whispered as he presented the award, "you have brought tremendous honor to this nation. Mr. President, this nation gave me my identity. I just paid my debt. In her acceptance speech, Emma's words resonated around the world. People ask me why I gave up a throne for a uniform. The answer is simple. Real life isn't found in comfort, but in service. Real power isn't inherited, it's earned. I was born a princess, but I chose to live as a soldier. The standing ovation lasted 10 minutes. Today, Sergeant Major Emma Thompson serves as Director of Special Operations Training at Fort Bragg. Known globally as the Princess Ranger, she wears the title with pride. Young women travel from around the world to meet her. Her message never changes. Your identity is your choice. No matter what others expect, what roles they assign you, you can write your own story. I walked away from a palace to find my battlefield. You can chase your dreams too. Emma's story isn't just about a princess who became a soldier. It's about finding your true purpose and having the courage to pursue it, no matter the cost. She traded privilege for purpose, comfort for character, crown for courage, and in doing so, she proved that the greatest throne is the one you build with your own choices. If this story inspired you, smash that like button and hit subscribe for more incredible, true stories of courage and transformation. Tell me in the comments, what would you sacrifice to pursue your true calling? What dreams are worth giving up everything for? Share this video with someone who needs to hear that they can rewrite their entire life story. Next week, I'm bringing you the story of a supermodel who became a Navy SEAL. You won't believe what made her give up a $50 million career to become one of the world's deadliest warriors. Until then, remember, your story isn't written by where you started, but by where you choose to go.